स्टार्ट। नमस्कार, जय हिंद। मेरा नाम प्रगति चौहान है और आज के इस वर्चुअल सेशन में मैं आप सभी लोगों का स्वागत करना चाहूंगी, जो कि ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया है youthnews.online के द्वारा। आज इंटरनेशनल योगा दिवस पर के उपलक्ष्य में ये प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज करा गया है और इसके बारे में मैं आज आपको कुछ बताना चाहूंगी। सबसे पहले तो आज हम बात करने वाले हैं मेडिटेशन और उसके बेनिफिट्स के बारे में। और जो हमारे आज के स्पेशल गेस्ट यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं हमारे साथ, उनका नाम है मिस्टर जोशुआ पोलॉक और मैं उनका स्वागत करना चाहूंगी कि वो आए। और नमस्कार सर, हाउ आर यू?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So as we can see that today's topic is on medication and its benefits. So what do you want to say on that? What is the introduction part that you want to say to all our viewers?
Well, the introduction is that we have to understand, I'll give you the example of, let's say, a telescope, right? If you want to look and see a distant galaxy, if you want to see a nebula, if you want to look at even this galaxy, the Milky Way, so you look through a telescope, and the ability to be able to see that clearly is going to depend upon the condition of the telescope itself. If there's a flaw with this medium, then your view will be obscured. And this is the same thing that you find on a daily basis. If you're traveling somewhere using a GPS and something goes wrong with the satellite, then you won't be able to know where you are or where you're going. Or with a radar, the same story. So the reason I'm making this point is that, in our own lives, our own consciousness, our own mind is the medium by which we interact and perceive the world around us, right? And if something is going wrong with this medium, then we're going to have a lot of trouble in our lives, right? So normally what happens is we tend to try to create impact in our life externally, right? But what I'm suggesting here is that what's equally important, if not more important, is that we look to adjust the medium through which we experience everything, and that is our own consciousness. For example, I'll give you one quick example. Let's say you sit with your beloved, your sweetheart, your girlfriend or boyfriend, and you enjoy this sunset. And it's so beautiful. And you think what a perfect moment it is and what a perfect view this is. And then later that person dumps you. So, and now you can go and sit there alone and you can see the same beautiful sunset, but it will have lost its appeal, right? And in fact, it'll only make you sad. Where it once was beautiful, now it'll only make you sad. So the external is the same, but the condition of your consciousness has changed. Your inner state has changed. So that shows just how potent that is. And meditation is something which is a way that we can work directly upon this medium of perception, this medium with which we interact with others, and this medium with which we interact with ourselves. So I believe it's of vital importance. And in fact, it's my experience that it's of vital importance.
All right. So, how many types of meditation are there that we can do or we can practice in our daily life that are important to each and every one of us?
I mean, there's so many varieties of meditation, of course. There's maybe hundreds or thousands of varieties. And here in India, I'm speaking to you from New Delhi. And here in India, of course, there's been so many traditions. If you even just do a little study, you'll see how many worldviews there are and how many techniques there are. You can look and see, Ramanuja said something, Shankara said something, Patanjali said something, Lord Buddha said something. And I think the most important thing is you need to have a practical approach. And you have to have a real approach. There are many people who will give you recipes of how to make a gulab jamun, right? They'll give you recipes, but that's different than actually eating it. You need a system that's going to feed it to you, that you'll actually taste the thing, not just, and I don't mean recipe, I mean, people aren't actually giving recipes. There are many systems which will give you reviews, which will give you descriptions of the taste. They'll tell you all about the, sthit pragya state in the Gita, or they'll tell you about being like a lotus, again from the Gita. They'll tell you about this, they'll tell you about self-realization from Patanjali Yoga Sutras, right? The descriptions are there, but to actually taste these states is another thing. And so if you have a practical system and you go and experience these things, you realize that all of these systems are not in conflict. At one juncture in your journey, you say, aha, Shankara was correct. But at a different juncture in your journey, you'll say, oh, Ramanuja was correct. And somewhere else, you'll again agree with somebody else entirely. And you'll realize that these are all different perspectives. And you have to gain all of these perspectives to find the ultimate truth. So there are many ways, but you need a practical way.
Under COVID-19 and the pandemic that is going on, there are several things, and especially the youngsters, they're losing hope. They were like planning about their future, and since last 2 years, it's like the same story, and it is really, really difficult to face this. So, under meditation, what are those things that will help us in moving forward and building up our future?
Well, we have to understand, I think a lot of people lose hope, right? I mean, there are so many setbacks that come at one time within a situation like this, because it's not only this pandemic itself with the illness itself and, the fear of getting sick or actually getting sick or losing loved ones, but also the associated things like the inability to find a job or inability to maintain relationships because you're under isolation. There's so many things, so many factors. So it's, I think, a combination of so many things tends to put us into depression, anxiety, and make us lose hope in life. And I think that it's important to maintain hope at all costs and to maintain optimism at all costs. You have to remember that it's been said that even, in this world, even the impossible can become possible. And we have to remember that. It may take a little faith to remember that, but you also need faith in such times facing human tragedy. And that is something which comes with experience. There's no leap of faith. There's only steps of faith. You know, I think we have to never surrender to thoughts that weaken us. The moment you say, it is impossible for me, I'll never, I'll never find a job, the moment you say, I cannot do it, then you've weakened yourself and you've defeated yourself. So we have to support ourselves and we have to support others too. That fundamental goodness should be there in our heart. We should not, we should not support ourselves at the expense of others, of course. I'm a violinist in my profession, right? And I remember as a student, I was having a lesson with my teacher, and he continuously asked me to do one, maneuver on the violin, which was very difficult. And I could not do it. Again and again and again, I tried, I could not do it. And with every failure, success seemed farther and farther away. Success seemed more and more impossible. And in my head, I knew I could not do this. So I was only focused on how to survive the next half an hour with this man, how to survive this, without completely embarrassing myself. And suddenly the inspiration came. Just stop listening to these negative thoughts and feelings. Just don't listen to it. And I just ignored it. And in one moment, I got it correctly. And I never made the same mistake again. So what I'm trying to say here is we have to stop listening to this voice and this feeling. Obstacles are very real. I do not deny it. But equally real is the power of attitude. The power of attitude is just as real as our obstacles. And we have to nurture that and take that in the right direction. So, if you achieve something, that's great. If you achieve something without facing obstacles, I think that's luck. I don't think that's greatness. I think greatness is always defined by having obstacles, by being put in an impossible situation where going forward becomes impossible. This is the situation where we can grow. So we have to remember that as well. And, I think now this all sounds very much like, motivational speaking, and I've never trusted motivational speakers. And now I'm doing it myself. I prefer a practical approach. And so the question becomes how to do it. It's easy to say so, but how to do it. When your phone rings, half the time it's a spam call, right? These days, there's so much spam calls. And
Absolutely.
so you have to screen your calls. You look at it, you say, who's calling? I don't know this number, right? So you screen your calls. Same thing happens. You have to screen your thoughts. You have to screen your feelings, your emotions, right? Many things are going to come. But we have to gain some, it's easy to screen your call because you have distance from that. But it's difficult to screen your emotions and your thoughts because they're so close and you identify with them, right? So meditation also teaches us the art of screening our thoughts, because in meditation, we learn to ignore the thoughts, right? And this helps us going through life. Generally, it teaches us to regard all of our whole experience as a witnessed object, and then it becomes very easy to discern between things which are going to be valuable and things which are not going to help us at all, to discriminate and choose. So meditation can help us a lot in creating an attitude which is going to be a positive attitude for us in life, in all endeavors, whether it's spiritual endeavor or material endeavor, right? So that's what I would suggest.
So I was going through your bio and I just heard about the Heartfulness Way, the one of your co-authored best-selling book. And
Yes.
what is the meaning of that heartfulness? What do you mean by that? Please tell us.
Yeah, well, heartfulness is, it's essentially a meditation practice. More or less in the yoga tradition. It's something which is been around for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
The lineage of teachers goes back farther into the past than anybody can even remember. But we don't hear about it so often because it's not a flashy thing where everybody goes and proselytizes, you know?
Yeah.
It's something which is just sort of, you know, I found out about it myself through word of mouth, not through any kind of advertising or anything like that. So quietly, it's been moving through the centuries and helping people. It's essentially a meditation practice on the heart, because even it's nothing new. Even in the most ancient of all these, in the Upanishads, even in so many places, in the Gita, even Sufis also recognize this, the that the heart is the organ through which we're able to contact the divine, to contact the transcendent. And I think in the Gita, Lord Krishna even mentions something that he says, I am in the heart of all created things, right? So there's so many, of course, these are all sort of scriptural evidence, textual evidence, but really the only evidence I ever needed was that I just close my eyes and meditate on the heart. And even I closed my eyes and meditated on this divine presence within the heart. And the way that that converted my mind and changed my consciousness and my whole experience of life was something remarkable, though I had tried many other methods before. So heartfulness is a heart-based meditation, and it recognizes that consciousness, the seed of your consciousness, is actually in your heart. And furthermore, it is not just meditation, but there are other techniques involved. And I'll mention one of them, which we call cleaning, because this is the most unique and vital method, I would say, because every day we build up our emotional baggage as we go through our life. You can have an argument with somebody, or anything can happen. You can see something, you can see, somebody fall down on the side of the road and be affected. There's so many things that affect us on an emotional level. And this creates what Patanjali calls samskaras, right? And these are impressions, emotional impressions on our heart. And this creates a heaviness. Not only does it create a heaviness, but it creates something like, if you meet me and I'm a jerk, right? I'm not very nice to you, then you might later on, you say, oh, this guy's terrible, right? And then maybe 5 years from now, you meet somebody who kind of maybe has the same name as me, or he looks like me, right? Are you going to like that person? Immediately you'll be suspicious of that person who resembles me, right? That person may be great, he may be wonderful, the nicest person in the world, but this bias is there because of past experience. So when we have an emotional reaction, it creates an impression, which creates bias. And now I'm unable to appreciate life in the present moment because I'm looking at everything through this, conditioning of the past. I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at my past. So we have to remove all this to be able to recognize reality as it is and to feel lightness in our lives. So this cleaning method is a way that we can remove that entirely, remove that samskaric residue, that emotional burden from the past. And we have a technique where we sit every night. At the end of every day, you just close your eyes for a few minutes and you just feel so light afterwards. There's just so much of a joyous feeling that comes. So it's really practically useful. It's practically useful in your life. It can just restore your balance to zero, and I mean, it's just a wonderful thing. You don't have to accept the philosophy. You just do it and you'll like it. So
Okay.
heartfulness has all these different techniques, and you put them together and it creates an evolution, I would say.
Okay, so my next question is really important, and it is very meaningful to us too, because being a musician from US, we have also worked with Mr. A.R. Rahman, and I would like to ask how you started working on Heartless, and why did you write that book, and how it started within you. So I just wanted to ask that.
Yes, well, I mean, the way I started meditation, as I said, it was just sort of luck. It felt like luck anyway. I was already interested in meditation. I tried various techniques, but none of them really worked, though I was impressed with the philosophy behind them. They didn't actually have the true effect that I was looking for. Anyway, one day I was just walking to the store in the United States, and I just started I got into a casual conversation with someone standing outside. Now, that person also had an interest in meditation, and as it happened, they had just started practicing this heartfulness meditation only a few months earlier. And they said, you like meditation, you should try this. You go meet a trainer, and that person will show you how to do it. So, that's what happened. It took me a little while. Unfortunately, my sister, my teenage sister, she died in a car accident, in a road accident, just a few days after that meeting. And so that kind of threw everything. After a couple of months, I was able to meet a trainer and try this meditation. And it was just so effective. Within a few days, I found a lot of change. It was a period, due to the death in my family, it was a period of family grief. And this really lent a lot of lightness to that time. It really helped me deal with that. And the most amazing thing to me is that, it just sort of woke me up to the true values of the heart, just the goodness, the wholesome values of the heart, which I didn't realize I'd been drifting away from in my life. I didn't realize it, but all of a sudden I kind of woke up to it and I thought, my God, so it really kind of woke me up to my conscience and that's how you get peace. People talk about meditation giving you peace. Unless your conscience is at peace, you're never going to be able to have any peace at all. So listening to your heart, people often think it means follow your heart means follow your desire. No, it means follow your conscience, right? So it took me along those lines, and it's still taking me along those lines today. Later on, years and years later, my teacher, my guide, Daji, who is the guide of the Heartfulness movement, he asked me to write a book about meditation. So in the end, it became the two of us together, collaborated on a book about meditation, where I asked him a lot of questions, and these conversations we had went into the book and became the Heartfulness Way. So that's how that all happened.
Okay, so can you provide us some kind of practical demonstration of heartfulness meditation?
Absolutely. Very happy to. So we can take maybe 10 minutes and meditate together. How about that?
Sure. Yeah. Done.
Okay, so here, I'll explain what we're going to do. First, I'll tell you the method. Then I'll walk you through some steps of relaxing the body. Okay? Then we'll sit silently together. I won't say anything. We'll all sit silently with our eyes closed. We'll meditate for a few minutes. And then I'll tell you when it's over. During those few minutes of meditation, I'll be transmitting to you. This is something which is unique to heartfulness. It's not something that's unheard of, but it is pretty unique. And this is something which you can feel and verify for yourself. When you meditate with a trainer in heartfulness, and there's thousands, I think 14,000 trainers around the world, you'll receive this pranahuti, yogic transmission. And I'll just say here that we do not sell spirituality. Everything is shared freely. You meet with a trainer, that trainer will not ask you for any money or anything. So I want to just say that some people charge for practices. Sometimes they say, I'm just making a little diversion here, but some people, sometimes they make excuses for charging, saying that the student won't benefit unless they pay something. But then at the same time, they never refund the money afterwards, which they should do if the person has already learned something. So our view is that that it should be illegal to charge money for spirituality. What can I say? Anyway, let us now go into this meditation.
Sure.
Here, as I said earlier, we meditate upon the heart. And not only that, but we close our eyes and we suggest to ourselves that this source of divine light, Divya Prakash, the source of divine light, is already present within the heart. Now, what do we do afterwards? Do we try to see it? No, that'll just be imagination. You cannot see it with your eyes. This is a presence within that you can only feel. You can experience it only through feeling. That is why we use the heart, because the heart is the organ of feeling, right? That's where you feel I love you, right? It's with the heart. So this is the place where we can get in contact with God. So that's what meditation is, very simply. We rest our attention on the heart and observe what happens over the course of our meditation. What sort of condition or state gradually emerges over the course of our meditation. That's all we do. People say, what about my thoughts? How do I handle my thoughts? During meditation, you simply treat your thoughts as if they were uninvited guests in your house. In India, this country we know is famous for its hospitality. That means an uninvited guest will never be thrown out. So we do not fight against our thoughts. They'll only fight back and become belligerent. But we do not entertain them either. So we just let them be there and focus on the heart instead. Okay, now let's begin. Please close your eyes and sit comfortably. The asana is not important. Just sit comfortably. And bring your attention to your toes. You can relax your toes and feel that a current of healing energy is entering through the soles of your feet, through the bottom of your feet. This healing energy is entering you from Mother Earth. And it is relaxing your feet. Let this energy gently move upward, relaxing your ankles. Let it relax your lower legs. Relax your knees. And your upper legs. Let the energy move upward. Relax your thighs. And hips. Relax your waist. And let your abdomen relax, your stomach muscles. Relax all the muscles of your chest. And relax your back. From your lower back, gradually relax every muscle toward your upper back. Relax your shoulders. Let them feel as if they're melting. Relax your upper arms, your tricep muscles, and relax your biceps. Let your elbows relax. And relax all the muscles of your forearms. Your wrists and hands. Fingers and fingertips. Relax your neck. Your throat. And relax your jaws. And just drop your lower jaw a little bit. Relax your mouth. Tongue and teeth. And relax all the muscles of your face. Relax your eyes. Let there be a lot of softness around your eyes. Relax your temples, your ears and your earlobes. And all the way to the top of your head. And allow your whole body to become relaxed. Bring your attention gently to your heart. Your heart there on the left side of your chest. And simply suppose that divine light from the source is already present within. That source of light is there within your heart. And it is drawing you inward in a natural way. Centered in your heart now. Like this, please meditate. That's all. Now, come out of this quite gradually and gently. Take a moment and see how you feel now that meditation is over. Take a few seconds. With your eyes closed. And when you feel ready, you can gradually open your eyes. But even then, feel as if you're still meditating, but only now with open eyes. Meditation, it's a 24-hour activity, you know? It shouldn't be finished, ever. You have to gradually come out of meditation to bring it into your regular life, your worldly life. Because that way, you can spiritualize your material life and make them one and the same. So, I think it's hard to come up with any questions after meditation. I think you're muted. Pagati, I think you're mute.
Yeah, now it's fine. Thank you so much, sir. And it was really, really, really positive, I must say. And it was a really nice experience that we had today with you. Now, I would like to invite Mrs. Falguni Pathak, Director of Resonance Studio. She is our special guest of this event. So I would like to invite her and ask her about this event. How was the experience and what did she like to say?
Yeah, that was awesome, Mr. Pollock. The beautiful meditation, very calm, tranquil, and serene. Lovely experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच मैम
Yeah.
थैंक यू सो मच एंड साथ ही साथ मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी हमारे चीफ एडिटर मिस्टर हिमांशु पांडे जी and what would he like to say about this virtual session and about this experience. I would like to invite Mr. Himanshu Pandey.
Thank you, and namaste to Joshua Pollock. On a very such a short notice, he agreed to come and he beautifully conducted this meditation. We are thankful to you for being so nice and so kind and doing this.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. I've really enjoyed my time with all of you, and I also had a wonderful meditation experience. And this is due to the participation of everybody.
And we
Thank you
would
so
love to
much.
see you again and soon, sir. And this was a really nice experience. And I would like to thank all the supporters and associations that have been supporting us since long. These are Vishwa Canada, Soham Department of Yoga and Naturopathy, International Naturopathy Organization, Adham Yoga Kendra, and many more. So this is a wrap, and I would like to say that, and I would like to ask the What was your experience and what would you like to say?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've I'm too busy doing to to be evaluating, but I've had a wonderful time. I I would like to encourage everybody who wants to go further that they can. And maybe what you experienced in this past 10 minutes, it's like when you walk past, who cooks the best food? Everyone says their mother cooks the best food, right? So when you walk past your mother's kitchen and you just catch the fragrance of something, right? That's what this is. This is a fragrance. Now we have to actually go into it and eat it, right? So for that, I would encourage you. You can connect yourself with a heartfulness trainer who can give you this, flow of transmission and show you how to do all these techniques that I mentioned. You can do that by going to heartfulness.org. There's a special Google Maps function there called Heart Spots, and that'll connect you with somebody local to you. Of course, during lockdowns, you can connect remotely instead. You can sit in your house, they can sit in their house. Or you can download HeartsApp, HeartSapp for iPhone or Android. And there you can also connect with a trainer remotely and learn to meditate like that. So I encourage you to get started. I've also, I've written a book also called The Heartfulness Way, which explains in detail all of these practices. So armed with that, I think you should be able to, get started.
Sure. So this is me, Pragati Chauhan, signing off, and thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And we all really hope to see you soon in the next session. Thank you so much for joining us. Jai Hind.